And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fine day here on Tomato Talk, top of mind, advancing through obstacles. So, this is one that just came up. I was contacted by a nonprofit organization to help them arrange for a couple of speakers for a presentation that they would like to give. Okay. So then the question is, where do you start with that? Maybe you're getting that phone call too. Maybe you're getting that phone call from a customer of yours or a friend of yours saying, hey, I'd like to give a presentation on. It's like, where do you begin to actually research that ad? Who do you contact? How do you start that whole process? And do you really even want to do it? Yeah, actually, that is a decision every so often. Do you really want to do it? So here's the few things that come up. One, I'm not mentioning specific names over here as we go through this one, but I just want to let you know what my thought process is with this, and perhaps you can help me out with it because it has to do with pain. And it's a topic that I think is really very appropriate, interesting, kind of fascinating too. And it's something that we talk about quite a bit. Maybe not so much as pain as business owners, although sometimes we do go through pain as we're trying to tackle a different project every so often, trying to make things work in a manner that's effective for everybody, time efficient, monetarily, et cetera, making sure you bring it in the right resources. But from a motivational standpoint, I think it's the same. So the question is, how do we deal? Not well. The question wasn't how do we deal with stress, but can you hear? Can your thought process actually create a medical issue, not a mental issue, not a stress issue, not a, oh, making this thing bigger than what it is, that what if kind of a thing, but actually, can your thought process, can your attitude really truly affect your body in a negative or positive manner? So it was interesting. So when I was contacted by this organization in order to do it, I was like, definitely fascinating. As you know, I am a co-facilitator for a support group with a medical issue, chronic illness. Uh, Also on the business side of things, I think it's kind of fascinating as to what we do and don't do and how we approach things from that aspect of Doug, good afternoon. From that aspect of it, and even if let's say, can we accomplish more? Can we accomplish more if we going into something with the attitude is that it's a learning experience? I'm going to need a little bit of help from different people. I know what I don't know, but I don't know what I don't know. In other words, if you were going to ask me to, I don't know, build a website, I know my limitations with building a website. I don't know all the widgets and all the background stuff. I understand the keywords, so I know what I don't know. But then there's also a lot more that goes into it by somebody that actually builds a website that I wouldn't even know what I don't know. So I don't know what I don't know. So that kind of thing. And that's different than going into something with an understanding of you needing help or going into an understanding that you're going to do it, but you're going to miss a few things that you're going to miss, as opposed to just flat out going into something totally without any idea of what you're doing. And that is never a good idea. So, this conversation, this topic, though, had to do with if you are finding humor or if you approach things with a positive mindset or um, an attitude that's positive, can you actually maybe minimize or negate something? The question actually was posed to me the other way around is also, can you actually be hurting yourself? Can your body actually be physically responding to how you mentally see something, how you've got that thought process going? So I was like, okay, let me go tap into a few people that actually know something about that topic. And I did. I reached out to two people in particular, another gentleman too, I wanted to have a conversation with. Uh, the Some of the folks I know turn to comedy, getting on stage in order to help them through their healing process. in order for them to better themselves. Worked absolute wonders for them. Granted, it's not just to turn on the light switch and go and you're done, not that, but they did go that route in order to, well, have a little bit of fun, a little bit of a distraction as to what's going on. And I think if you have that heart to heart conversation with them, it also gives them that positive vibes, that positive feeling, within there. Did it actually physically help their ailments? I don't know. I really don't know. So that was the other question. And I spoke to another gentleman who was a corporate keynote speaker, and he talks on that specific topic, about that. He was like super excited about the whole topic, without a doubt, and gave me story after story about people that he sat down with in order to discuss this, to work through this, to have that mental imagery by the positive aspect of it and how it's helped them. So, he's got the stories in there to tell that, and with some recognizable names for everybody. So that was really fascinating too. And then I turned to somebody else because this group actually wanted to have somebody from the medical field talking outward, about this. So I reached out to somebody that was in the medical field, on this note. Also found it really fascinating. And he's seen the positive impacts of this along the way from his perspective in the medical field. He's a psychiatrist. So there's a lot to be said there. We're trying to get more into the true medical side of it, bodily functions and how the body responds to it. So I had an impromptu conversation. You gotta love those impromptu conversations, meeting the right people at the right time. So I spoke to this young woman about this, who's she's in sports. She's she's in the process of becoming a physical therapist. Mentioned this whole thing. And then she told me about something called RSD. I got that right. RSD. And I wanted to share with you that, what I was able to find, but also wanted to bring out to you this whole concept of like, if you're being asked to speak about something, what do you do? Do you just say yes or no for you? Or do you find somebody else that can maybe speak on the topic better than you can? I mean, I certainly can't, and I wasn't even asked to. Just asked if I had somebody or if I knew somebody that would be able to talk about it. And it's prompted a lot of very interesting conversations. So there would be takeaway number one for you. Think about those that are in the supporting industries of whatever that topic is that you're being, again, if you're being asked to present on, or if you heard of somebody that's looking for a presentation on a specific topic. You don't have to be the one speaking for you to benefit from it. I mean, you got this goodwill deposit if you refer somebody over to you. So, you know what? That's not exactly my forte, but I do know somebody that would be very good for that presentation. That'd be great. And you also get a chance to talk about it, promote it a little bit, depending upon your relationship with that person or what your role is. So there's always benefits, to you as that goes along. And if it's somebody contacting you about something specific that perhaps you really can't talk about, well, there's always that possibility of a bit of a follow-up presentation on something that you can truly talk about. All right, so let's not waste any more time over here. Let's scoot over. Hey, Doug, if anybody within that realm, that would be kind of interesting too. But let me do the shared screen over here. So I then took a look at this. Move it up. So this woman spoke about RSD, and I didn't know, still really don't know anything really about RSD. So let's go take a look over. Let's go a definition of. Let's see if we get a little bit more insight over there as to what that is. So we now change it over to CRPS. Oh, here it is. It's reflex sympathetic dystrophy syndrome association. Oh, I'm sorry. Reflex sympathetic dystrophy. There you go. Yeah, I speak. That's it. So they're talking about CRPS. CRPS is a syndrome characterized by continuing, spontaneous, and/or evoked regional pain that is seemingly disproportionate in time or degree to the usual course of pain after trauma or other lesion. In other words, it's hurting more than it perhaps should. The pain is regional, not in a specific nerve territory or dermatome, and usually has a distal predominance of abnormal sensory, motor, vasomotor, or edema, and/or trophic findings. The syndrome shows variable progression over time. CRPS1 occurs after any form of trauma, particularly a fracture or soft tissue lesion. CRPS2 occurs after nerve damage. So let me just read the reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which seems to be what we're really talking about, and then we'll play a little video. So this association is, and it's a national patient advocacy organization which provides information, support, and hope to children and adults affected by complex regional pain syndrome. So we're going to reach out to them. CRPS is a rare neuroinflammatory syndrome characterized by intense chronic pain, swelling, tropic changes, vascular changes, and functional impairment of the limb. It can become incredibly debilitating unless diagnosed early and treated appropriately. So I'm just going to play a video over here. Let's just go back to that front page, and maybe we'll get a little bit more, real life what this means instead of my definition of. All right, let's go here.
Feel like I got hit by a truck. Like a truck just ran over your body. Every single part of your body hurts. You have no energy whatsoever.
I can't regulate my temperature, and the pain and burning is so beyond my ability to think and press through in other areas.
When the pain is that bad, sometimes, it's just really hard to see any glimmer of hope out there.
I was hit with a baseball when I was 14 years old. It hit me right back in the face when I was pitching and broke my nose, shattered my cheekbones, and it led to CRPS in the face, upper body, hair, ears, all that. But we didn't know that at the time. It took 19 years before I got a diagnosis.
In 2004, I sprained my ankle, and I knew instantly that this was a different kind of sprain. The pain was just absolutely through the roof. An intense pain, like burning beyond anything that I'd ever imagined. And then such a hypersensitivity, like I couldn't have anything touching me at all. When those symptoms started just randomly showing up in other limbs, it became, it was just a nightmare.
Initially, you feel a little bit crazy because the pain is so strange. It hurts if you're sleeping or not sleeping more appropriately. It hurts if you're sitting in a chair. It hurts if you have the affected body part elevated. It's kind of a stinging, burning pain.
For about 6 months, I kind of got passed doctor to doctor, trying to figure out, what was happening. And I had 2 kids at home that were under 5, and trying to maneuver life and figure out what was happening. And I had no idea that this would end up being, a journey that I would be going through for the rest of my life.
A lot of what you do is try to anticipate and react accordingly, but there are times where you can't, and you have to be sympathetic and understanding, and in many cases that's hard because you don't know what they're going through.
The hardest thing about raising kids when you have CRPS, you have my dreams, my visions for them, for our life. They'll never changed. And you have to adapt.
Complex regional pain syndrome is characterized by pain that is disproportionate to the original lesion or injury or the healing process. That's in the mind of the doctor that makes the diagnosis. but it also is usually characterized by disturbance of the autonomic nervous system, or the automatic nervous system that controls blood flow to the limbs. It is thought that the early diagnosis and identification of CRPS is critical for successful treatment. It is a disease that never comes to us as specialists usually until 6 months. However, if at 3 months there is still delayed healing or disproportionate pain, it's time to start thinking about this and considering the possibility of a specialty referral.
I think it's the mandate of the primary care physician to say, do what you do, diagnostically and therapeutically, and if you get to a point that the patient is not getting any better, at least consider the possibility that you haven't gotten to the right diagnosis, which is not a criticism, because nobody's that smart that they know all the diagnosis and all the treatments.
The diagnosis of complex regional pain syndrome is not subtle. This is something that all doctors everywhere should be alert to, and the new criteria is simple and accessible, hopefully, so that primary care doctors can detect this early and refer to specialists if necessary.
How do people react emotionally to finally being given a diagnosis? And the answer is they cry. Okay, that's the first reaction, male or female, they cry, because it's almost like finally somebody understands what I'm going through. Finally somebody understands the disease. Finally somebody is going to offer me some help, that there is, a light at the end of the tunnel.
Getting my diagnosis really changed my life.
Once she was diagnosed, it was a relief, because there wasn't this belief that it was all in her head. And so once we knew that, you took this little breather and said, okay, now what do we do?
You do have to change what you do and who you are. But that doesn't mean you have to not do anything anymore. You just have to do things a little bit differently. I think your life maybe is circumscribed by pain, but not defined by it.
You have to change the way you're living, but that doesn't mean you have to stop living.
The advice I would give somebody who was just diagnosed: take a deep breath. As this is going to be a journey, and it's going to be difficult, but they're not alone. Keep looking up and keep moving. Don't isolate. Reach out. Use your voice. If it hurts, say it. When it feels good, say it. Count your blessings, and don't hide. Don't be embarrassed or ashamed that you have complex regional pain syndrome. We have to stand out and speak up.
I think that's it. Yes. Remove. Whoop. We're back. Yep, that was video was developed as a collaboration between Reflex Sympathetic Dystrophy Syndrome. All right, we're going to look into that a little bit more. Let's get rid of that. And we're back over here. So I don't know if that addressed it fully as to what the presentation was about, but just like any other chronic illness, any chronic anything, there's always relief in being diagnosed with whatever that is. And then you could start on that healing path. And and in so many cases too, it's like, once you know what it is that you're having a problem with, whether it be health, whether it would be, business or anything like that, you identify the problem, then you can actually do something about it. So there's the do something about it. And that still is the unanswered question here with regards to this presentation. So I'm still a little bit on the, and try to figure this one out too. It's, is it something, does your mind really control your body? Does your mind really control? Your mind really does control your activities, right? And how you perceive something and how you deal with something. And if you're going to learn from something, or if you're just going to get unbelievably frustrated with something. And yep, I've personally been all over the place with that one. I gotta imagine I'm not alone there either, but just whatever. Been all over the place with that one. But then, can I sit here and can I imagine, or can I create a burning sensation in my leg? Can I create a rash in my leg? And I think that was kind of referred to by the woman I spoke to yesterday. Or over here, can your thinking create more of an issue or more of a sensitivity in a certain area, more pain in a certain area than what is justified by nerve endings? Now, if that is the case, if your mind has the strength to do that, does your mind have the strength in order to turn it around the other way? So can you make something worse with your mind? I would think that answer is yes. In fact, I would definitely go and be in the camp that yes, we can make things worse than what they are by really going down that what if path, or seeing the negative of something in the short run and not understanding that in the scheme of things, it's not that bad, or things will work out in some way or another. Or if you want to take the religious approach to it, we're meant to go through challenges, whatever. This way we learn from them, and we have a greater understanding. We're able to help people on the other side of it. But we make something better? We can definitely make a situation better by having a better attitude with it. But can we physically heal or help to heal our body from just concentrating with our mind and just concentrating with our own actions on something? It's an interesting topic. Definitely an interesting topic. And if you got something to say on that one, or somebody that might have some sort of an interest with it, let me know. What I did suggest with this person is that they reach out to the local hospital in the town that they're in to see if they have anybody in their psychology, psychiatry, mental health department that might have some thought process with it. If there's some sort of research that's being done in this area with those people, I think that would make for an interesting conversation and an interesting presentation nonetheless. Whether or not it's something that's proven or not proven, this organization has a number of different support groups, so I'm going to reach out to them, see if they maybe have somebody that would like to come in and make this presentation. Because the group that wants to do it doesn't want to do this. It's not a presentation, a true medical presentation. In other words, it's not given by hospital staff to hospital, to doctors. It's to the general public. It's to the general public about talking about something that's an interesting topic. So it can be a bit on the theoretical side, not just the medical side. So that's that's something that we're going to take a look at to see if we can help out with. So, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating, and then we'll see where it goes. I know that I would be thrilled to see that keynote speaker along with the psychiatrist talk about this thing, even if it is from a theoretical standpoint, not necessarily a medical standpoint of the impact that it has, but the impact that it has on the recipient, of the people that the two of them are working with it from different approaches too, on dealing with chronic illnesses, on dealing with chronic pain, on dealing with some sort of chronic situation, on dealing with some major trauma that they have gone through. That's real. No matter how you cut it, that side of it is absolutely and positively real. So that's a fact. How it actually truly happens? Maybe that's a little bit on the unknown. Maybe it's just belief. Maybe it's just belief on so many things, right? How do you know you're going to be able to do something? You got to believe that you can. How do you think that you do more than what you thought you were capable of? It's because you somehow deep down inside have to believe that you can take on that challenge, and then you will continue to work through it. and continue to push yourself to greater heights, to greater levels, to walk further, run further, climb higher, build a bigger business than you ever imagined. I never thought I could do that. But then you do it. That's real. How did it happen? Well, referral partners is one. Getting lucky. I love that getting lucky thing is another. Oh, I got lucky. Well, the right resources show up at the right time and things happen. Somebody gives you a word of encouragement that goes along with it. All of a sudden, some little piece of some puzzle that you couldn't figure out, all of a sudden gets figured out. Why? I don't know. Sometimes it's a matter of stepping away from something and coming back to it again. Then it's a cumulative knowledge that picks itself up and makes it work that way. And maybe some of that has to do with some of what they're talking about there with the chronic pain. Well, pain, that's more than what should be. Look, she started smiling. A bunch of them did, started smiling when, after we were diagnosed, then all of a sudden, after you were diagnosed, now you get to put that, I'll use the word responsibility. That might not be the best of the words over there, but put that responsibility of whatever that situation is on something other than, hey, it's my fault, or hey, it's me. It's not me. Oh, no, it's that label. It's that disease. It's that something. It's that situation. And then that's where that responsibility goes. Then it's not a matter of how do I deal with me. It's how do I deal with that situation. Perhaps it's that taking a step back and looking at things from a bit more of a third person point of view, which I think you do in that respect, because now it is not, it's not you, it's the disease, and you are not the disease. You are not that symptom. You are not that problem. You are not that challenge. You are dealing with that disease. You are dealing with that situation. We're dealing with that problem. And then working your way through there. And then maybe it's a little bit easier to get a little bit more assistance from people as you're dealing with that outside problem, not your internal problem, challenge. Now that's another way to advance through the different obstacles. Maybe it's moving that obstacle aside a little bit every so often, and then dealing with it with a team. Maybe that'll be the big takeaway over here. That'll be it. But it's, as we're talking about over here. So what if, the what if kind of thing. What if you are presented with an opportunity to speak about something that you don't necessarily know about? Look at that as an opportunity. One, somebody thought highly enough of you, or somebody saw something on your website, social media place that gave them the idea that you did. So kudos to you on that. Then you become that resource. And that resource does not mean you're the one with the microphone. That resource can mean you're the one making that great referral. And then that will grow. That'll definitely grow. Either the person you referred it to or the organization. And if they are an organization and they are looking for somebody to speak on a topic on a date, chances are that's not the first time they've done it. And it probably won't be the last time that you've done it. And if you become the one that can really help them achieve their goal by bringing in the right resource, the one that they really should have speaking on whatever that topic is, you're going to get that phone call again, and you'll be able to grow from there. And you'll wind up making new referral partners, new friends, new opportunities that'll do it. So don't ever think, that's not me, and just push it aside. It's always you. It's always you. You just might need to pass it along to somebody else as you go along there, but it's always you. Be the resource that you possibly can be and make it work that way, and find out who can help you. And that's what I'm asking right now. So if you know anybody that's got some sort of an inkling with this idea of that we can heal things through our own processes, our own thinking, our own way of approaching things, and you know somebody in the medical field that even has an interest in it, I'd be more than interested in talking to them. And we'll see what we could do with this presentation. And it'll be on Long Island. If we can make this work, it'll be on Long Island, open to everybody. So hope to see you there. And again, each and every day here on Tomato Talk, we are talking about things on the top of our mind and advancing through those obstacles we all face. So speak well, speak often, and live inspired.